everyone, and welcome back to the Game Emporium, where today I'm in a different room because I'm talking about something other than the board games, which usually will be seen on this channel. My name is Luke, if you haven't been here before, so hello. And today I'm talking about my video game journey. The reason I'm talking about this is because, well, I think most of us as board gamers start off in video games at some point or other, and find the solo experience doesn't necessarily fulfill what we want. We enjoy your video games, we like playing all sorts of things and exploring the stories, exploring those whole different worlds. RPGs are a whole other aspect, which is quite a good transition from the video game RPG series into the tabletop RPG series, like D&D and that sort of thing, and then going into the sort of board gaming world, which is kind of the route I took. But I started off with video games back in, when was it? It would have been around the time that the PlayStation 2 was released, because that was the first console that I had. I remember getting it one Christmas and having on it Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone from the PlayStation 1 game, as being the first video game that I remember playing quite a lot, as well as Burnout 3, for some reason. I may be conflating those memories. I feel like it was Burnout 3. It may have been just regular Burnout. I'm not sure. I'm sure I'll correct myself in the edit somehow. I remember coming down to see my dad and my uncle playing on Burnout at some point at, early morning when I was still asleep, and or after I'd been in bed, and then just come down and found them playing on it. And it sort of developed from there. I played a fair chunk of different franchises throughout that. I played all sorts of Need for Speed games. I played Burnout. Racing games were a big thing during my teens that I played a lot of. And then as time went on, I switched from PlayStation to the Xbox because I wanted to play with the Kinect. I thought the Kinect system was going to be cool and it was going to be the big thing that happened in that generation. Spoiler alert, it did not catch on. So I played with the Xbox for a fair bit. Other franchises sort of came and went, playing on things like examples like Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. Those sorts of things would pop up occasionally. I then went from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One because by that point I had a lot of Xbox games that I wanted to be able to play backwards compatibility with, and went on to the Xbox One. After that, I switched back to the PlayStation 5, and that's where we're at the moment, is PS5 and playing games on that. But of course, that wasn't the only thing that went through there. You see, during that time, I went through several franchises, as I mentioned before, and there were two that really stuck out to me that I played fairly frequently and have played pretty much every game in that series. And one of those is the Assassin's Creed franchise, which I am a huge fan of. I remember playing Assassin's Creed 2, playing Ezio Auditore di Firenze, and going through that entire saga, going through Brotherhood, going through Revelations. Not entirely certain why they switched the naming convention back to Assassin's Creed 3 after that one, but it is what it is. And I really enjoyed it. It was really good fun. I really liked the stories there. I loved all the historical characters that you came across and you met. I love playing through those games now, to be honest. I did a recent playthrough where I played through pretty much all of the Assassin's Creed games before the most recent one came out for Mirage. And I still really enjoyed them. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the series is going to pan out when they switch back to the sort of more stealthy version in Shadows that's upcoming, and what's going to happen with Hex and all the rest of the stuff that is going through. There's a lot more history to wander around, a lot more interesting characters to develop and speak to. It's going to be fun. I'm actually looking forward to it. I even really enjoyed the RPG stuff, the more recent series, that trilogy in the Mythology series. I really like that. I know a lot of people had their problems with it. I get that. I really liked it. I thought it was fun. It was nice to do something a little bit different that was, admittedly, some of it was thinly veiled behind the Assassin's Creed branding on it. But the other franchise that I played a lot of, and I didn't mention these consoles whilst we were going through it, is Pokemon. And Pokemon has been the franchise that I have played the most of. In fact, let's give me a second here. Yeah, that's better. Yep, that'll do. Hey guys. Yeah, Pokemon. So, 1999 was when Pokemon Red and Blue first came out in the UK, and I remember my dad getting me a purple Game Boy Color and the red Pokemon. And I remember playing that game a whole lot. I played multiple times and didn't really understand what was going on because in 1999 I was 7, so I didn't really understand how all things went. Yeah, as I'm sure many of you can relate to if you've ever played the Pokemon games, it was very much a case of in the youth, click button, do damage. This move does nothing, get rid of it. It's out of here. We don't need to worry about it again. But a year later, Pokemon Gold and Silver came out in Japan, and my grandfather was out there on a trip of some description. I can't remember if it was a holiday or if he was working, but he came back with a copy of Pokemon Silver for me. And about a year after that, he came back with a copy of Crystal. The problem with that was they were in Japanese, so I spent a good chunk of time on the internet looking up what my little buddy Cyndaquil learnt at various levels, which was entertaining, to say the least. But hey, and then after that, obviously played through the remainder of the generations, going up to Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP, into the DS, 3DS, and then into the Switch era that we are now, as well as delving into the GameCube games with Colosseum and XD, which were fantastic and hugely underrated, and playing with Pokemon Battle Revolution on the Wii, which was another console that I got, which really enjoyed. That one was unfortunately after my grandfather passed away. That was a gift with some of the inheritance. So there's a lot of sentimentality sort of tied to the Nintendo brand in that aspect for me. So yeah, the Pokemon franchise is something that I have a lot of sentimentality attached to. It's something that I played with. It's been around longer than most of my friends at this point, and it's something I always go back to. I may have had waning interests in the games in general. Some of the more recent ones have had their problems. I did find it annoying that they didn't have a level balancing system all the way through the games, which they could have done. It's done in other games, so you could have done it. But actually, I still really enjoy the franchise, and I still find it a lot of fun. And the reason why this video has become a thing and why I decided I want to talk about this, and particularly with Pokemon in general, is because of my newfound invigoration for Pokemon. You see, Laura and I went to Japan for our honeymoon, and we went to 7 different Pokemon centers. We went to 2 in Osaka, 1 in Kyoto, 4 in Tokyo. And these aren't all the souvenirs I picked up from them. This is possibly my favourite, though. This is the Matcha Pikachu from Kyoto, which I really love. I love his little kimono. It's got a little celebi on the sleeve. It's awesome. His little cover matcha. And he's got a little girlfriend partner, which has got a basket of sweets, which is really cool. I love going to all the different Pokemon centers, and I've got little gacha things that came out. This little fella, this little Charcadet, which is really cool. They had little models that you could make that I picked up, so like this Ho-Oh, which was fun to build. Kind of like Airfix kits. And going back into Japan and going into a Pokemon Center for the first time, it was like the 7-year-old me going, oh, what is this? Seeing a Pikachu and a Charmander for the first time, and oh. It was wonderful. It really reinvigorated my love for the franchise. We went to the Pokemon Cafe. We had some actually really nice food. I know people say that character cafes are not always going to be the greatest quality food. The Pokemon Cafe was actually really decent. Really enjoyed it. So if you're ever in Tokyo or Osaka, recommend go check it out if you're a Pokemon fan. Got a Pikachu dancing show, which was always fun. And yeah, it's just really triggered a love of the franchise again. So that's what I kind of wanted to do here. Since we shifted from being Eat, Quit, and Survive into the Game Emporium, I wanted to do things beyond just the RPG aspect, and we were doing board gamey stuff anyway. There's a whole host of the Eat, Quit, Survive plays board game kind of thing, which we did during the lockdown and occasionally still do. But shifting into the Game Emporium, I've kind of thought, well, why not bring the video games into it? As I said, a lot of us have our starts from video games going into board games because of the accessibility of them at the time and the way that the hobby has now exploded. There's kind of a nice overlap. So I'm going to start making some Pokemon content, which I'm looking forward to doing. I've already started making some videos in the background, which I really have enjoyed doing. A new friend of mine, Tom, a new friend for the channel, Tom, is going to be joining me for a 2-player Nuzlocke of Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, so we've got some of that coming on very soon. Those videos are all edited and ready to go. I just need to do this video first because it would be odd for me to just go, Pokemon, and not really explain why we were doing it. So that's what we're going off to do. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you for sticking around this far. Subscribe if you haven't already and you're interested in seeing where this Pokemon journey goes. Let me know in the comments below what your video game journeys have been. I'd be really interested to hear about that. And yeah, we'll see you very soon. Thanks everyone. Bye.